and welcome to Old Sun News. I'm Ariel Brass, and today we're going to talk about Korea and Canadian Aboriginals, how they lived before colonization, and what happened to them after colonization, ways that they're similar, and their culture and traditions, and layout of both lands. Now, let's turn to Roy and Joe for more information.
Thank you, Ariel. Okay, today Roy and I will be taking a brief look at how colonization in Canada affected the Aboriginal people and the Korean people. That's right, Korea. The Aboriginal and Korean people were similar in character. Before colonization, the two were very self-sufficient. They took and respected the land because it was the land that fed, sheltered, and clothed them. Then things changed for the Aboriginals, and then the Koreans. Roy?
Thank you, Joe. Okay, this is true. Korea felt the similar effects as Aboriginal people did. The Western missionaries that were a big part of colonizing Canada were also the ones that have given Japanese the knowledge about colonizing. Because of the Western missionaries, Korea, the weak neighbor of Japan, became a target in January 1876 for colonization.
Land. Land was a big issue in Canada. During the colonization of Western Canada, Aboriginals were placed on reserves in way of the treaty so that the settlers can farm the rich landscape. This too is a big issue in Korea. Korean farmers were removed from their land so that Japanese citizens can utilize the land for themselves.
The missionaries. They would try to strip the culture and language from our Aboriginal people. They would take the children and force them into residential schools like the one you see before us. The schools, as they would put it, to kill the Indian in the child. Some children never returned home, and the ones that did would live with the sadness and the abuse for the rest of their lives. This is no different in Korea. Japanese too would try to change the language and culture of the Korean people. One instance saw Korean activists locked in a church while the church was set on fire. Anyone tried to escape through the windows were shot by the Japanese military.
Here's a brief geography of Korea and Canada. Korea is located on the Korean Peninsula in Northeast Asia. Korea is divided into two countries, North Korea and South Korea. North Korea is 46,941 square miles. South Korea is 38,691 square miles. Combined, Korea is about 85,632 square miles. Mountains cover 70% of Korea, with generally small plains areas between the mountain ranges. As for Canada, it's located in the northern part of North America, which covers about 41% of the North American continent. Mostly plains lands with mountains in the west and lowlands in the southeast. Canada covers about 3,855,100 square miles and is covered by 10 provinces. Today we just showed a couple similar facts about these two countries. Sadly, there are many more similarities between these two countries. Like any change in life, there are good, but it's usually the bad that is hidden. The Aboriginal people and Korean people are survivors. We are building and teaching the younger generation of our culture.
They show how colonization in Canada affected the Aboriginal people, and how far the effect was felt, how it changed the entire nation, dividing it into what is now known as North and South Korea. Thank you. Back to you, Ariel.
So in conclusion, Koreans and Aboriginals were very similar. The fact that missionaries taught the Japanese how to colonize is just wow. Missionaries colonized the Aboriginals in Canada and tried to assimilate them. The whole thing turned into a big mess and still affects the First Nations today. Korea, on the other hand, is now split up into two parts, North and South Korea. Koreans tried to fight back against the Japanese but ended up failing. The men and women of Korea were treated very badly, same as the Aboriginals here in Canada. Even though it took a few decades to take back their independence, they still had the power to do it. Thank you for tuning into Old Sun News. I'm Ariel Brass, and good night, folks.
Credits. Yay. Cameraman Joe and Ariel. Yeah. Director Joe and Ariel and Roy. Yeah. Yeah. Starring Joe and Ariel and Roy. Yeah. Thank you. References.